Okay, get yourself ready for your morning practice. Sit on a lift into a good cross-leg position. Sitting evenly. And just feel that you can bring levelness to your seat bones. So a little wriggle about, make sure that you're feeling evenly placed. And once you're satisfied that you are sitting in a level position, which can take a few moments, then allow your eyes to fix on something ahead of you. Just look at the floor, look at something that isn't moving. Keep your eyes still in the sockets. Keep the jaw soft, keep the tongue soft. Just listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Press the palms firmly together, lengthen from your armpits into your elbows, elbows into the heels of your hands, the heels of your hands into the fingertips. Focus on the sensation of expansion of the lungs with the in-breath. Allow the in-breath to be non-resistant. Non-resistant inhalations. Non-resistant exhalations. With an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. If you haven't done already. And just continue to observe the sensation of the lungs filling and emptying. Filling and emptying with non-resistance. As you inhale, the chest naturally rises upwards and outwards, so permit that. Assist it. Because the body gains more oxygen from non-resistant breaths. More oxygen feeds the physical body with energy from the breath, feeds the brain with energy from the breath. So as you inhale, breathe evenly into both lungs. Breathe evenly into both lungs, breathe evenly out of both lungs. exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. And then hold on to that sensation of abundance in the heart area. And release the backs of the hands down to the knees. Connect the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. And then raise your head. Allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold onto your knees and elevate the heart area up to the ceiling, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears at the same time as lifting the chest. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side with an exhalation. Observe how your body feels this morning. So these first few limbering poses are familiar so that we can assess how they feel different or the same when we come into them. So continue to fill the lungs without resistance. When you turn, you might have to move your elbows away from each other so that you create space in the armpit chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, using the out breath to intensify the turn. Just observing where there is resistance, where there isn't, and come back to the center. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, and then turn to the left, drawing your abdomen across, ribs and your shoulders, just observing the feeling of the pose from the inside. And then very gently come back to the center. Just spend a moment just to observe the warmth of the physical body from the turns and the energy that you have released just through that simple spinal twist. Just observing and acknowledging the energy that you release. And then come up off your lift and sit back on your heels. So if we're considering kind of hip stretches, this is a really good stretch of the hips, but just bring the knees wide enough apart so that you can get your lower ribs through. So not too far apart. If you're too far apart, it becomes a kind of a collapsing action in the hips. But have the knees at least slightly wider than your hips. Have the big toes together. And then that will give you some space in the hips. Press the shins into the floor so that the thighs activate. Press the shin bones into the shin skin. And elevate the heart area up to the ceiling. And then hinge at the hips. Come forwards. Lengthening your arms forwards. Keeping the seat bones down on the heels. Spread your fingers, spread your palms. Keep the chest lifted. Feel that hinge of the hips. Keep the seat bones down if you possibly can. And then bring the forehead down. Press the seat bones down onto the heels. Keep your arms really firmly activated. Spread your fingers, spread your palms, push the hands into the floor, press the palms into the floor. Lengthen away from the hands into the wrists, into the elbows, into the armpits, into the hips. Push the hands into the floor, sit the hips down on the backs of the heels. Just allow the forehead to rest on the floor. Press the area between the eyebrows firmly into the floor. If you can't reach the floor with your head, put a block underneath your head. Just breathing even. Deep inhalations and exhalations. And then release your arms. Bring your hands to the sides of the body. Rest into the child's pose, but so you apply a little more pressure on the forehead. Feel a little strong on the forehead, however, so if it does, then lengthen consciously from the shoulders into the fingertips. Shoulders into the fingertips. Still keeping the seat bones down if you possibly can. A bit harder in this pose, isn't it? The seat bones want to lift. And then stretch your arms away again. And then sit back down into your heels. Have a folded block between the seat bones and the heels if they're not making contact. Just come up onto your knees. Have your hands as wide apart as the mat. Turn your toes under. Have your feet as wide apart as the mat. And then come up into dog down. Straighten the legs. Pressing the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. Pressing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. And turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. From the little toe to the big toe side. Pick the seat bones up. Feel that you compress the front rim of the pelvis towards the tops of the thighs. Breathing even. Deep inhalations and exhalations. Pressing the kneecaps through to the backs of the knees. Let your head hang down. Just breathe even deep inhalations, filling the lungs non-resistantly. So there should be no strain, no excessive effort. There should be definite effort. But if you listen to the tone of my voice, it's not like this. It's not straining. It's working with the pose, finding the extension, but there's always calmness underneath the effort. Take a deep inhalation and then step your feet forwards and then come up into a standing position. Get a couple of blocks for your hands and bring your feet as wide apart as the mat. Bring your feet as wide apart as the mat so that you can consciously feel the edge of the mat on the outside edge of your heel. Even if that means that your heels slightly overlaps, that's fine. Feel that the little toe is also on the edge of the mat. So see through feeling. Just have a quick look down. The outside edge of your foot should be really precisely in line with the edge of your mat. Have your hands on your hips, lift up into the chest, tighten the kneecaps. Again, turn the fronts of the thighs consciously inwards. That's a really important action for releasing the hips. So this action of turning the thighs inwards, make sure that you bring that action about. Press the thumbs into the small of the back, lift up into the chest and keep the head lifted as you come forward and then reach down, find blocks. So be on the high end at first and just work into the pose, just feel your way into the pose. Feel that there is balance of action, and there isn't probably balance of action to begin with. So whenever I come into these poses and I observe, maybe it feels like it's all over the place. So then you have to go inside and just work the legs so that they're working evenly, identifying where there is imbalance. So one leg will always work more willingly than the other. Just find that inner balance. Turn the fronts of the thighs really consciously inwards so that you can pick up the seat bones in the kind of cow action. Extend into the chin and the chest. Keep the head extending forwards and keep the chin extending forwards. If you've got a bad back, then just stay there. If you don't, then you can come down lower. But each time you adjust the pose, go back to that balance of action. If you can reach the floor, then do, but not at the expense of rounding the back or bending the knees. Feel where your feet are, where your weight is in your feet. Keep projecting that chin and the chest forwards. Keep your focus on your balance of action. If you can reach around the heels and come forwards, but with a straight back, driving the chin towards the floor. Reach around the backs of the heels. Again, don't do this if you've got a bad back. And draw the chest through the gap between the legs, but not head first, heart first. The head should always be the last thing to come down or come into the forward bend. If you come forwards with the head, then you're doing pose with the ego. Do it with the heart. Just observe that balance of action. And then come back to the center. Bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up. And then come back up into Tadasana. Come back into Tadasana. And just focus on the energy that you have released through your poses so far. Just breathing even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Just listening to the breath. Just being in Tadasana, have the inner edge of the feet together. Hit your weight into your heels by hitting the shins back. Turn the fronts of the shins inwards. Tighten the kneecaps. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Activate the thighs by lifting them up towards the tops of the legs. Tuck the tailbone in. Lift the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone. Lengthen the shoulders down into the fingertips. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step or jump your feet really wide apart for prasarita padottanasana. So wide legs. Turn the toes in. Turn the toes inwards. It's easier often to know that your heels are in line if you use the back edge of the mat. So maybe step your heels towards the back edge of your mat. Turn the toes inwards and then straighten the legs, tighten the kneecaps. Lift up into the chest. Elevate the heart area upwards. Turn the fronts of the legs inwards. And then hinge at the hips, come forward, hinging at the hips, and then reach down. If you can't reach, then use blocks for underneath your hands, but be on fingertips, whatever you're doing. So just feel initially where your weight is in your legs. Are your kneecaps tightened? Are the fronts of the thighs hitting through to the backs of the thighs? Are the fronts of the thighs turning inwards, turning from the little toe side to the big toe side? Are you slicing the inner knees towards the back of the room? All of these give you lift in the seat bones. Project the chin and the chest really consciously away from the legs. Breathe non-resistantly. So the hands at least shoulder width apart. Breathe in non-resistantly. Pushing the fronts of the legs through to the backs of the legs. Turn your left toes in slightly. Turn the right foot all the way out and then walk your hands over to that right foot. Bring your right hand onto the shin. Bring your left hand onto the hip. And then rotate the chest. Rotating that left shoulder towards the back of the room, and then reach up, coming up into a wide trikonasana. And when we come into the pose this way, it's easy to lose that back leg, so really activate that back leg. Turn the legs in the opposite direction. Turn the legs from the big toe side to the little toe side, especially with that front leg. Squeeze the front leg buttock bone forwards. Draw the abdomen away from the floor and up to the ceiling. Listen to the breath. Turn the legs in the precise opposite direction to how they are in prasarita. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring that top hand down, walk yourself back into the center and then come back into prasarita padottanasana. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, hitting the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Just resetting in the middle. Hit the legs back. See if you can lift your hands off the floor and hover. It's quite strong on the legs, but it really gets the legs working. The legs are turning in the opposite direction. Stretch down, bring the fingertips to the floor. The legs turn inwards in prasarita. Turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. Even if you bend the knee initially, turn the toes out, bring the right, walk the left hand over to the left shin, bring the right hand onto the hip, and then rotate that right shoulder towards the back of the room. Rotate the legs in the opposite direction. And then reach up if you can. Breathing in and out through the nose. Activate really firmly that back leg. Maybe when you're wide enough like this, you can bring your hand onto the floor on the outside of the shin. If you can't, then don't worry. See if you can. Keep those legs firmly activated. Don't lose the back leg. Keep that back leg dead straight. Turning in the opposite direction to prasarita padottanasana. Okay, bring that top hand down. Bend the left leg if you need to, and then walk the feet, walk the hands back to the center, walk the feet back to the center, and reactivate your prasarita. Turn the legs in the opposite direction, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that you can pick up the seat bones and project the chin and the chest forwards. So you might just want to stay here. If you want to go further, then drive the chest down to the floor. Drive the chin down to the floor. Walk your hands back in line with the heels of the feet and bring the head down. If your head doesn't reach, you can put a block underneath your head. Just breathing even deep inhalations and exhalations. You can reach around the outsides of the heels. But don't allow there to be loads of weight on your head. Hit the legs back so that your weight remains in the heels. Keep the breath gentle and non-resistant. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Okay, bring in your hands back onto the floor, walking yourself back into the halfway point, just lifting the chest. Just take some non-resistant breaths. And then bring the palms of the hands down to the floor. Bend your knees and hop or jump your feet back together, and then come up into Tadasana. Come into Tadasana and just observe your energy. Listen to the breath. Raise your arms up in urdhva hastasana. I have to come sideways to give myself maximum ceiling height. Ideally, bring the hands shoulder width apart. Get the arms straight, lock the elbows. If you struggle to do that, then bring the arms a bit wider apart until the arms will straighten. And then lengthen from the hips into the armpits, into the fingertips. Shoulders away from your ears. Turning the legs inwards, tuck the tailbone in, draw the abdomen to the spine. Lift the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, drawing the lower ribs towards the spine. Lift your toes. Lift the toes off the floor to really sharpen the action of the legs. And then gently release. Come down onto your knees. Bring your hands shoulder width apart. Step back, turn your toes under. And then just come back up into dog down. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, aiming for evenness of action. So spend a little time in the pose, observing your activation and making it even all throughout the body. Breathing non-resistantly. So from here we're going to come into rajakapotasana. If you're not doing dog down, or if you don't want to go into rajakapotasana from dog down, then just come down onto all fours and then just follow the rest of the instructions. You bring the right knee towards the right wrist and just follow the rest of the instructions. So you can do it from your knees if you prefer, or you can do it from dog down. Just find that balance of action. And then swing the right knee forwards, making contact with the right wrist, leaving the right foot underneath the left thigh. And then bring the left leg down onto the floor. Walk the left leg away, and then tadassanaize that back leg. Turn the front of the thigh inwards. Turn the front of the thigh inwards like you're doing tadasana, so that the hips come level. Come up onto the fingertips, and then elevate the heart, the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the heart area. If there's no problem with lifting your chin, then drive the chin to the ceiling. Push the knees away from each other. Keep that back leg in Tadasana, turning the front of the thigh inwards. And then just come down onto your elbows. Just come down onto your elbows, just have a little wriggle about in the hips. So this becomes more of a yin style pose. And then create a couple of fists for your hands, one on top of the other. And then just rest your head, your forehead down onto the fists. And allow the body to release into the floor. Let the hips relax. Let the legs relax. Let the spine relax and maintain non-resistant breaths. This is more of yin style pose than our normal method. But it can feel really good to just help to release the hips. Soften the jaw and the tongue and the throat. Just let the body yield to gravity. So rather than active extension, allow there to be passivity about the pose, just releasing into the floor, releasing into gravity. And then lift your head. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. And then reactivate the back leg. Lift up into the chest. Reactivate the back leg, reactivate the front leg. Lengthening from the hip into the knee. And then bring the palms down onto the floor. Turn your toes under. Just step back into all fours or step back into dog down. Now the balance of action will feel very skewed. Just spend a little time in dog down or in the on all fours just to address the imbalance if you can. Just make sure that your feet are in line with each other. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So you can come up into dog down in between if you want to. Or you can stay on all fours. You can stretch back into Adho Mukha Virasana if you prefer. Okay. So either from kneeling or from dog down, you're going to bend the left leg, bring the left knee towards the left wrist, making contact. Bring the left foot underneath the right thigh, and then stretch that right leg away. Consciously activating into that leg. Turning that leg. Turning the front of the thigh inward so that the back of the thigh broadens outward so that the hips come level. Be up on the fingertips, lengthening into the toes of the straight leg and lift the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then come down onto the elbows. Just wriggle into the hips a little. And then create fists with your hands, put one on top of the other. Make sure it's the other way round to how you did it last time. And then bring the forehead down onto the upper fist. And then let go of the pose. Let body release into the floor. So this yin style is to extend into the, or just not to extend at all, but let gravity open up the ligaments between the muscles. body, yield to gravity. Any adjustments you need to, so if bringing your head down is too strong, and put a block underneath your head. Rest your hands onto the floor either side of the block. Allow the body to yield to the floor. Okay, raise your head, just come back up onto your hands, reset the legs, activate that back leg, turn the back leg, and then extend the abdomen up towards the ceiling. And bring the palms flat down onto the floor, walk the back toes in a little, and then step back into dog down or into all fours, and then come back up into dog down. If you're doing dog down, and you can come up to it from your knees, or if you're not doing dog down, do Adho Mukha Virasana. Just use your dog down to find that balance of action. Maybe it feels a bit more achievable after doing both sides. Hit the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So dog down is really good for quietening the brain. It's really good for the liver, really good for the kidneys, really good for the breath. It's a good position to be in to focus on conscious breathing. Okay, come down onto your knees and sit back on your heels. Just sit back on your heels for a moment. And then come forwards into Adho Mukha Virasana. Just observing how this pose feels a little different now to how it felt at the beginning. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up into a seated position, and then come into cross legs. Just directly on the floor if you can, or use blocks if you can't lift your chest. Then sit on a lift. Hold onto your knees. Lift up into the chest. Observe your energy. Observe how your energy has changed. We've been working on energy around the hips. That's really good for positive thinking and for just general energy activation. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the ribs across and your shoulders across. And then come back to the center. Hold on to your knees, lift up into your chest. And with an exhalation, turn to the left. Turn or to the other side. I think I might have got my lefts and rights wrong. Just turn into the other side. And then come back to the centre. So come down onto your back briefly, just raising the legs up into the air, extending the legs up to the ceiling, holding onto the edges of the mat. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So I'm not going to stay very long, just very briefly. Just a gentle inversion. If you're not doing this, then you can just be in sirvasana, or you can do padottanasana. Feet together, knees apart, feet close to the seat bones. And then bend your knees, bring the feet onto the floor. Rather than staying on your back, just roll onto your front. And make a little pillow for your head that you're going to rest your forehead on. So you lay on your front and then just rest the forehead down onto the backs of your hands. So we've done a lot of work in the hips and in the back. So this can be just a nice way to release that tension. Release into the floor, observe that irrepressible lightness of energy that radiates from the bones into the muscles. That irrepressible lightness radiates from the bones and into the muscles and into the organs. Sending positive healing energy into the organs. Releasing into the floor. And then just bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up into a seated position. Just a gentle Adho Mukha virasana for a moment. And then come into cross legs. Just sit With the hands in Namaste, your final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the reclining poses bring to the body and to the mind. Bring the chin down to meet the chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside, and then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. And then raise your head. Allow your eyes to gently open and the focus to gently come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you've really lifted your energy and you can use some good positive energy to put back into your day. Thank you very much for joining me.